And good evening. Welcome in to a post-mortem, not really it shouldn't even be post-mortem, but a special edition of Going nuCLEar. A little bit of a chance for a, I don't know, whine, complain, considering edition here. I'm Ethan Greenberg, and welcome into Going nuCLEar, full-blown coverage of the land. Joining me, fellow friend, member of the Fanatical Elves Network, and host of There's a Gleam. It's Steve Hemrick. Steve, welcome in. Thank you for joining me for this impromptu, meeting of the minds, as it were.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me come on. I'm a fan of the show. Loved it. I always loved your opening.
Yeah, I do as well. I don't know if it's working right because I think I got something disconnect. I'm doing far too many things, Steve, and I've managed to goof things up pretty royally. So I'm just gonna leave it be, and it is what it is. But anyway, so yeah, thank you for joining me. Yesterday the Browns won, but it almost feels like the Browns lost.
Really?
Because social media manages to ruin everything. They absolutely managed to ruin everything. All day today, from the minute I woke up, the bickering and debate was about the perceived slight of Shedeur Sanders by Kevin Stefanski when they filmed and they posted from the locker room. He was giving out a game ball, and he only gave out one. He gave it to Myles Garrett. And he mentioned a few other players. He mentioned Corey Bojorquez. He mentioned Dylan Sampson, and he said Shedeur Sanders, a few others. So, I didn't have any issue with it. Yet somehow that was the first thing that was going on this morning. And I just couldn't figure, what in the world could you imagine the team wins, yet somehow there's an issue? Mike, thank you for joining us. I know it's halftime of the Cavs game, and they're trying to not lose a stupid third game to the stupid Toronto Raptors with our MASH unit out there and everyone on the bench. And Dean Wade better watch out because he's going to lose his spot on the team to Naquan Tomlin there. And it would be a happy victory Monday, but for all the morons on social media. I mean, Steve, are you with me? Is this just not ridiculous?
Oh, it is. I purposely wasn't on social media a lot today because of that. I actually didn't listen to a ton of local sports talk radio. But I've seen it both ways, to be honest. There's some people that just won't give the kid his props. I mean, was he outstanding? No. Did he improve from last week? Absolutely. A couple of big things we said and we saw. I mean, two things he did last week. Those sacks. He took some monstrous 13, 14-yard sacks. Didn't see that. He seemed to get rid of the ball, quickly. He could complete a screen pass. How about that?
Yes. Yeah. Yesterday morning, my son and I, we got on and we talked, and we've been talking about it for weeks. Imagine that. You can run a screenplay, a screenplay. How hard was that? And they did it. They finally ran it to perfection. And I know that it's been going around that I am not the originator of this, but there was a lot of discussion about the side-by-side picture of the Jets game where
Gabriel sailed that ball about 10 yards
over Malachi Corley's head, and he would have been off to the races too, except Gabriel is not very good, or I mean that's all I can come up with him. I
don't know what happened with the screen because if you remember back to the Baker days, that was one thing they did awesome. Screenplays and stuff, we ran those great. And last year, I mean, Flacco's a different beast. But it just seems like the screen passes kind of disappear. We just haven't been able to, I guess, execute it properly. But now, getting back to your thing, I've seen it both ways. Yeah, some it was against the Raiders, this and that, kind of downplaying what Shedeur did and what the team did. Others they've been, the conspiracy theorists, which drives me nuts.
It is. How? Why is it that you can't just enjoy a win? I get it. You could be, okay.
Calm down, breathe. Woosah.
Try to do a deep breath. So, one, I can understand the frustration because you say if they had just put him on the field,
Mm,
what would he have be? What would he already be at this point? I mean, how much further along? But we also aren't privy to what's going on behind the scenes.
mhm,
If I come into a classroom, okay, and I don't know the first thing about algebra, right? And
mm,
all I know is simple addition and subtraction. I'm gonna have a hard time,
yeah,
and it's like might be a really bad example, but I'm not gonna be able to immediately start doing algebra. So you have to get me introduce all of these other aspects and things that I need to know
mhm,
to do the algebra equations, right?
yep,
And until I learn that, I'm not gonna be able to do squat. You're not gonna wanna see me at the board doing problems. You're not gonna wanna have me taking the test because I'm going to fail miserably.
yep.
So, is it possible that behind closed doors, he did need to be taught a lot to get him up to speed? His skill level, we have all said it. I've heard it everywhere. His ceiling is higher than Dylan Gabriel's, and that's not just because he's taller than him. And and his floor is lower than Dylan
Mm,
Gabriel's, okay? So Dylan Gabriel comes into the system or the NFL having played under all these other coaches and offensive schemes,
mhm,
and by virtue of Sanders coming in, I guess without that experience, he needed to learn all that. He needed to take on all these things and get used to the types of calls that he was going to have to make at the line of scrimmage. It's not that he's not capable of it.
right.
He certainly is.
Didn't I hear, maybe I'm incorrect, but I could have swore, well, I think it's for sure college. His father's been his only coach.
Correct. I believe he's been his only head coach.
Okay.
Correct. And he's had different offensive coordinators. I mean, poor Kent State. When Prime went to Colorado, he took Sean Lewis from Kent State as the
Okay.
OC, and then he got screwed over and got booted, even though it wasn't really his fault.
Mhm.
Um, and and then you had Pat Shermer.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
And yeah, Mike, certain Browns fans will never be happy. They always find something
I
to moan
agree.
about. Even when we win, it's annoying. It is. It's just awful. I'm like, come on, please. Can we be realistic here, folks?
Mhm.
We don't win that often, and it's one thing to nitpick, but at the end of the day, shouldn't you be happy? And Steve, to your point, you talked about what Shador did yesterday.
Mhm.
It's nothing pretty. 11 of 20, 209 yards, 10.5 yard average
Mhm.
per completion there. One touchdown, one pick. The pick was a bad pick, but he's got to learn. He's
Sure.
got to learn. And I heard Gerard Cherry talk about it. Maybe you need to make the formation a little bit different to simplify it so that simplify it in that you don't want to have so much traffic in one place,
Right.
right? And he got sacked one time for a loss of
Only
3 yards.
one.
He
Yep.
didn't make he didn't make the bad decisions. He didn't race backwards. Um, like,
Like you did the week before a couple times, So I think, I mean, it was his first week of practice, full week of practice with the ones. I was encouraged in the fact that I think I saw some improvement on a few things. What limited he played last week, I saw improvement on things he didn't do so well, although brief. Um, you know, I did see that. The other thing was, uh, I love the fact that he keeps his eyes down the field too. You notice that when he's moving around stuff, he's looking down the field. Like that perfect example is that 52-yard or 50+ yard bomb to Bond. He was
yeah,
rolling out to his right. His eyes were downfield the whole time.
exactly. He
So
wasn't immediately worried about throwing a check down.
yeah.
He was looking for a play. That's the thing. It's like there's a happy medium between being safe and
Hmm.
reckless. And if
Right.
he can find that and he's going to make those quote unquote explosive plays. That's
Yeah.
everybody talks about all the explosive plays. Man, look, manage the game with a deep ball threat like we needed him to do. That
Mm.
deep ball threat is going to help open up things offensively. They're going to help you
Absolutely.
respect the pass. They can't always just keep blitzing him because that's what they did on it. And he eluded the rush,
Yep.
rolled out, and threw a dime. Threw a dime to Isaiah Bond. Oh my God. And an Isaiah Bond sighting.
Right.
I mean, I know Isaiah Bond is Bond. James, it's supposed to be like a secret agent or something, but wrong Bond, wrong Bond. No, I was overall very pleased with what he with what he did out there, and I'm looking forward to what he's going to do next week against San Francisco. It's going to be a tough task. I certainly think that San Francisco presents a much better opponent.
Sure.
Than than the Raiders. But at this point for the Browns, you can't look past any opponent. You really can't. You've got, I mean, there's just, we stink. Okay. I mean, we're pretty bad. Our offense has been terrible, but you know what? Also, all of those points, 24 of them yesterday, all on offense. A couple of them were set up because we had the nice return, kick return. Gage Larvidan. Oh my God. A kick return. What? No way, man. I mean, are you kidding?
Actually, special teams looked halfway decent.
They did. They did not look like the unspecial teams.
Right.
They didn't look like the unspecial teams. And that's a key right there. We've been asking about or talking about. I mean, the defense did exactly what they needed to do. They did so well that Chip Kelly got fired today.
Right. How about that? The Browns effect. I saw that. That's
yeah. It was crazy. Now, here's a great point, Mike.
Mike.
Jerry Jeudy. I understand what he was doing, but where is his head? Like, he's trying to make a move and he's thinking too much. Just go. You gotta go. And Kevin said he talked about. I think Stefanski was talking about he always tells them it's not, or somebody was saying it's not what's in front of you, it's what's behind you. It's who the person that you can't see. And that was the problem there. He was trying to make this move and think too many steps ahead at that point. Just go. Go. And his lack of concentration there. I'm not upset. I could be really pissed with him as a whole this season. But that's also part of the problem. That's a bigger part of the problem. He's not a wide receiver one, and the Browns have to fix that.
Right. I think they will. Who knows? Everybody's talking about the quarterback class. Is this does this have the franchise quarterback? I'm not sold on it. I know there's still a little bit of time, but right now, if you told me today, I don't want to waste a first round pick just because, hey, we need to take a quarterback,
Right. And that's the whole thing that I have been preaching or thinking about is like, look, if Sanders is the guy, right? That is going to make everybody's life better. It just is, because then you're not thinking about using that first pick on a quarterback. And Mike and I have been on the same page about this. Give me Carnell Tate.
Yeah, I'd love to see that.
I'll take Tate. I'll take, I mean, I don't know that we necessarily need him, but I would take Caleb Downs. Or the best offensive tackles available. We have got to rebuild that offensive line so that we are not having Quinshon Judkins get hit 2 yards deep in the backfield and just being able to barely get through that to make a half a yard gain.
Yep. No, they had a little bit of success with that. Well, they had a lot of success with the Wildcat, with the 2 touchdowns. But up until that point, when they just did some run plays, he couldn't really gain anything. He finally got a few good carries late in the game. He finally, we saw a couple runs of about 10 yards, but by and large, I mean, I thought the strength of this offense, that line was the interior, and the whole line as a whole, I think, is better.
Okay, but let's look at that. So actually, a couple of things. One is the balance of the play calling. I mean, first of all, it looks like we had 27 rushing plays and 20 passing attempts. We ran the damn ball.
Yeah.
We ran the damn ball. There we go. This is important right here. Iowa has 2 good tackles.
Can never go wrong with a Iowa lineman.
No, I mean, we should, quite frankly, that's who we should have had when Dodo Berry took Jed Wills instead of taking Tristan Wirfs.
That one's a tough one. Yeah,
it is. It's very difficult. But okay, I think part of the a good piece from Shedeur Sanders and having a quarterback that can actually spread the ball around and there's a
Mhm.
threat to go downfield, maybe they don't load the box.
Yeah.
They can't load the box, and that
Well,
will also help the run game.
yeah. No, the fact that he stretches the ball and goes downfield help tremendously. Because that first game when he played, they couldn't do anything.
No, no, and I mean, he was you threw him into the wolves,
Yeah.
but like he said in his press conference, they don't care. Nobody cares. Ready or not, here you come. They don't care what it is, and so um again, I think that he certainly showed that with a week of practice, he can uh,
He,
definitely do a lot more.
yeah.
Um, and I'll be interested to see what the game plan is here against San Francisco. Again, certainly the Raiders are a mess themselves. They paid a lot of money for Geno Smith.
Yeah.
It's not a Deshaun Watson size, piece of crap contract, but they spent a lot of money on Geno
He's
Smith.
he's
And
one of the few of the quote unquote retreads that hasn't been successful. I mean, you look at,
yeah, Darnold still is doing pretty well.
Mhm.
He has his moments though, where
Yeah.
he progresses. I don't trust him in the playoffs. I would not trust him in the playoffs, and I'm going to need to see more of Daniel Jones.
Mm.
Certainly, he has his moments. I mean, that game against Pittsburgh for the Colts was atrocious.
I didn't see much of that.
It was
They
not.
ended up,
It was a couple weeks ago, and they made a comeback in the game, but overall, it was awful. It was
yeah.
just awful. And he looked like the old Danny two nickels, Danny 10 pennies. So I
Good.
I, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's just kind of my thought. And I don't know why people have to be miserable
Mm.
and make a whole thing out of. You can't have anything nice. I saw someone, and it's actually I've seen a lot of his posts, and it's kind of bothering. I think it's a
Who's that?
former Buckeye, C. Grant.
Yeah.
He's like he's making posts even after yesterday, like something with a locker room speech about like, fire Stefanski, bringing Coach Prime, and there's a bunch of other nonsense. I'm like, oh my dude, will you stop?
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah. No. Well, and the one thing's driven me nuts, from the get go is everybody talking about these conspiracy theorists and why Shador wasn't starting before Gabriel, from the get go. It's like the Browns took Gabriel in the third round. That was the guy they thought was, for whatever they thought that he was there, they thought he was the best quarterback at that time. Why wouldn't they start him first?
Right. That's exactly you have to go into their mindset. Now you
Yeah,
can question it. You
right.
can question it, but that's their mindset is obviously they took him earlier because they thought he would be better prepared. It goes back to that what I was
Right.
talking about earlier. They just felt, hey, based upon his experience, we think he's going to be better at the outset to come out there and be able to get on the field sooner. And
What would the experts have said had they started Shador before? And it's like, well, here's a guy you took in the third round who
and
you're sitting, and you took another quarterback in the fifth round, yet he's starting over the guy in the third round that you thought was because you could have had Shador in the third. So that one's always kind of,
or you could
irking me.
right, yeah, and then you could have also taken like if you didn't. They overdrafted Dylan Gabriel is
Oh,
the pro-
without question.
and they could have had a safety like Xavier Watts, who got taken off the board shortly thereafter from Notre Dame. That
Okay.
he was we could have used that. Definitely
Sure.
could use some secondary depth. And I don't know what it was, but I also think this is where it goes back to Steve. You and I may have chatted about this. The plan was not to have two rookie quarterbacks.
Yeah.
The plan was to have two veterans and a rookie. Um, and it wasn't a rookie you were counting on to play right away or even eventually as your franchise guy. The plan was to have them as a backup
Right.
and as someone who could learn, which would have been fine. Well, then you see Shador sliding all the way down the draft board, and whomever it was, it seems as though it was Andrew Berry who said, "Hey, I think we should take this guy." And he probably had a discussion with Kevin and with Jimmy, and they all said, "Okay, if he's there, we're gonna go and get him." And
Of
they did.
course, if you believe the conspiracy theorist, if you remember on draft day when they showed the camera shot of those two, they look like anything but thrilled when they announced that they took Sanders with that pick.
Yeah, they thought Pickett was gonna be QB1.
Well, that's what I don't get, because I was kind of under the same belief. But if because I mean we went and seeked them out for a trade for Pickett. They saw
Right.
something with Pickett that they liked. Maybe it was a good fit for their
But again,
system.
if you're thinking 2 veterans and a rookie,
Mhm.
he was a former first-round pick. That's what Andrew likes to get value.
Sure.
So you see a former first rounder, you say, "I think there's something there that we can work with." And then they go and they get Flacco, which was probably I don't know who was who. If I think Flacco, I think was a Kevin guy.
Yeah. Very well could have been.
And at the end of the day, then Pickett gets hurt. He can't. Why is that? You know what else is coaching malpractice? How much worse is Kenny Pickett that the Raiders won't even put him on the field?
That's a shocker. Actually, we were talking about, me and my buddy John, who I do the show with. How crazy would it have been if Pickett would have came into this game the other day and won or something? Wouldn't it have just been a Browns fashion?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the only thing I could have seen him possibly doing slightly better is his mobility. A
Yeah.
little bit better than Geno Smith. But other than that, his tiny mitts, I mean,
Yeah.
very, very fragile
I
hands.
mean, this wasn't Geno's first bad game, and for him not to play does, I don't know if Carroll's just got that much ties to Geno that he won't do him like that, out of respect or loyalty or what.
They were in Seattle together, and
Yeah.
they had a great relationship there. But and then I think I saw that. I believe the video appears to show him Geno Smith running off the field and flipping off the home fans. He's got a lot of goodwill going on there. Good. It's good.
Where was that at? Was that in Las Vegas or was that back in Seattle? I don't think I saw that.
That was yesterday.
Really? I did not see that.
At the end of the game, yeah, I saw a video clip, and it appears he's running off, and he flips the bird. It's like a very, very like low key bird, but it's a bird.
It's the bird.
It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman. I don't know. And he was pissed on the sidelines, and I would be too. But he was also he should be mad with himself. How many throws did he miss? The Browns were fortunate because he missed on a lot of them. He really did. So sometimes it takes, to the 6 Raiders fans. Yeah. Talk about local radio, all the Cleveland people, they had, a takeover or whatever it is set up through one of the travel agencies. Mm-hmm. And so ESPN Cleveland, a large group of contingent was out with them and others.
I saw some of that over the weekend.
Right. And they were saying that, people were mass exodus on the escalators. You could see them from the upper deck. They're leaving and stuff. I mean, we're used to that in Cleveland. We obviously play pretty crappy much of the time. And, we got fortunate there that he didn't hit the wide open receivers because they were there. The throws were there for him.
There's some passes he did miss for sure. Or they dropped, or I think he missed most of them, but there are a couple drops. But I mean, the defense was lights out.
And part of that is they got the lead. Lead, and they were able to pin their ears back and stuff them. I mean, they talked about it, and Vegas is a terrible offensive line, so they can't run the ball. And then they are literally we don't even have to think about the run because they're down and they've got to throw. They got to get the points. They got to get the ball. Right. And so I just credit where credit is due all the way around for the game plan, offensively, defensively. They did what they needed to do. And so today to have people kind of crapping on things and causing a ruckus is really angering and frustrating as a fan. And over here, and just as an update, Mike, appreciate you always, the Panthers have forced 2 picks so far on Brock Purdy, our opponent, coming up here this weekend. So Brock Purdy is struggling. And I'm kind of like, what is going on with Brock Purdy? He seems to have regressed to the mean. Are the injuries
Might be more of the injuries. I remember, true story, was it 2 years ago when I think it was 2 years ago, San Fran came here and played us?
2023, the 2023 season. Yep.
Yeah. I remember my wife and I were talking about vacation, and I try to schedule around the Brown schedule, and because I am a season ticket holder, but I'm like, you
Right.
know what? I don't mind if we go this week. We're kind of limited on our days, and there was the game that San Fran was coming to town. I'm like, you know what? We're probably going to get shellacked. I'd rather sit on a beach. I got my iPad. I'll pop the game on while we're sitting at the beach. And I remember that, of course, we won that game. And I was like, I had major FOMO. I'm like, of course, I don't go, and they beat him. That was a missed field goal, right? Is that the one where
that was Booty.
Moody missed, like,
Or Moody. That's it, Moody. Jake Moody.
Yep.
He was Moody. He's Moody and he's Booty. Both same thing. Close enough. No, I mean, we're starting PJ Walker
right
in that game, and
was he starter that game?
yes, wow. He was the starter. I mean, because it was before we had Flacco.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And it was, I think might have been, we had like maybe that game against the Colts where PJ had to come in, or I can't remember the order of things, because remember, Watson tried to come back after like the bye week or whatever.
Right.
Or in Indianapolis, played one series and was horrendous, and they pulled him out. And and PJ came in, and then that was the game. Garrett's blocking, box jumping and blocking field goals and all that, strip sacks and all that stuff, if you recall that in Indianapolis. But yeah, so that was PJ Walker. Yeah. And it goes back to a discussion that I've had with others. And I don't remember. Okay, so who's this? Is it main tackle? Yeah, maybe. I don't know if Mike is talking about for Indianapolis or for San Fran, which game he's speaking of. But regardless, it was one of those games where Kevin Stefanski was able to coach a lesser quarterback to a win. And that's where you start to really think about it and ponder, is it an issue? Is Kevin Stefanski a good coach, a bad coach? Is he not developing these guys enough? What is it? And I don't know. I really can't say. Okay. Mike is clarifying. That was the 49ers. What their tackle was it? Probably Trent Williams, probably.
Yes, I was thinking Williams, was it?
It had to have been. And that, I mean, and they've got all kinds of problems in San Fran. So I think that they're actually might be kind of ripe for the picking. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's good or bad if they're struggling in Carolina. Well, they've got a lot of injuries.
Let me ask you this. This is always kind of another driven me nuts. You've heard it time and again. We got to go out west. We got to travel. We don't travel well. They don't expect much. I don't ever hear when a team like San Fran comes east and they're like, oh, they got to travel all the way east. It's, that why is it just when we have to go west? Oh, it's going to be a tough game. We got to travel.
I think it's just historically. I mean, if we start winning, it won't be discussed.
Right.
This
has always driven me nuts. If anything, if anything, I would think it's worse coming from the West Coast because you're used to playing a 1:00 game.
You're losing time. You're losing time coming. Yeah. I don't know.
But they always say it. I never hear that as an excuse for the West Coast teams. I mean, this, like I said, Shedeur, all in all, a lot of positives from the game. It's it's better than what I expected, to be honest, because we got the win too.
Definitely.
I mean, he definitely did better. What was his QB rating? Which, take it for what it's worth, 87.3 or something.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he completed at 11 to 20, so 55%. He went downfield, made some good throws, missed some throws. I mean, it's his first start. He's going to make mistakes. If he looks perfect, I think we all would have, been stunned.
Right. I mean, I like what I saw. We watched that preseason game against the Panthers.
Yeah.
And it gave you there was a gleam.
Yeah. Well,
a glimmer of hope there. You kind of saw he could make some nice throws.
Mm-hmm.
Give the guy some time. Give him some time. This season, a lot of people, I know, you and I talked about it, the expectations for this season and hoping that it was going to be a lot better than it's turned out to be. And it just hasn't. And here's a good point here. eh, about the Rams. Now they're a very good team, but they flew into London less than 24 hours before the game.
That's
Blew
true.
out the Jags. I mean, it's just. I think it's a little bit mental as to
Yeah.
what that is, and also let me ask you this question because obviously we pay attention to what's being discussed about the Browns and when
Mhm.
they travel. And you're asking about the West Coast teams traveling here. Is it simply that we don't notice it because we're not paying attention to their media and we're not inundated with it?
It could be. I mean, we don't follow. Well, it's tough. It's tough to compare to somebody like Pittsburgh. For whatever reason, Pittsburgh, they're like that just cockroach that won't go away. Every year they're always around 9-8, but I don't ever hear I don't ever hear them say, "Oh, Pittsburgh's got to go out west. They got to go to Seattle." It's
Right.
not looking good. So there's probably some truth that it's our team. We're so locked in on the Browns, and it's just another excuse of why we're bad. Oh, they got to go out west or whatever. But like I said, I've heard it for years. I mean, it's nothing new. But like I said, I don't ever really recall, and I don't follow any of the other cities out west. But if somebody does, and maybe we're right or wrong, and maybe there are teams like, oh boy, they got to go all the way out east.
I think it's just a general. I think it's just a general sports issue when
Right?
teams are traveling to the other coast. I mean, you hear it all the time when we're talking about even, oh, they got to take the dreaded West Coast trip, the
Yeah.
Guardians or the Cavs or whatever. Oh, they got to take but you're right. I mean, because there's less teams that far in the Pacific time zone
Right.
versus the Eastern time
So,
zone.
what are you expecting for next week?
I think that's a good question. I am expecting, I'm very curious to see what how this game goes in Carolina. I mean, it's a second quarter, 7-0 right now. San Fran over the Panthers
Oh,
in
there.
and they're in San Francisco, I guess. Yeah, so they're in San Fran. Um, but I would expect that Kyle Shanahan will have the 49ers ready.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and but I don't think we'll be overmatched. I feel like there's an opportunity there, and I guess all I want is an opportunity.
Well, we're going to have that home field advantage that so many people want to bitch about the new, going to a dome. Because last weather thing I saw now, again, we're how many days away, and usually our weather people, they're nice people, but man, a couple days out,
Well,
I've
things
seen it flip flop. But it went. I remember a week ago or within the last week, I saw rain. I'm like, great, because I'm a season ticket holder. I can deal with anything but rain, especially when it's cold. That's like miserable. We're not covered. You can't have umbrellas, and it's just cold and wet. It was supposed to rain. Then it was, and I saw, clear. I'm like, oh, beautiful. They're saying 40s. I'm like, I'll take that. Now, the last thing I saw from yesterday, I think it could be a mix or it could be snow. I'm like,
well,
okay.
you know what? I mean, I guess if we're gonna have to play outside, I suppose I'll take it. But
Right.
it works both ways.
Right.
It works both ways. We've got a lot of people who may not be used to the elements. Certainly, but they'll be all right. Whatever it is, it is. What I want to see is more progress.
Absolutely. Yep.
And if it gets us a win, that's the icing on the cake. This is going to be a good San Francisco team, whether they're 7-5 or 8-4. They are a good football team, a well-coached football team.
Yep.
And despite the fact, and I don't know what Carolina's doing because that's three
Wow.
three interceptions by Brock
And they're
Purdy.
and they're losing 7-0. Wow.
The Panthers are losing 7-0, yet they've picked
Right.
it up. Picked it up. That's crazy. We're going to need to see more, just a continuing to progress. And that's all I really want to see out of it. I want to see
Yeah.
potentially be able to get San Fran to back off the line a little bit to open up some of the running lanes. I'm really not sure what they are or are not doing when they talk about that the wide zone scheme that we used to do with
Mhm.
Callahan here, because that worked really, really well. We got to see more ultimately progress. I'd like
Yeah.
to see Shador have maybe a little bit higher completion percentage. If he does everything else the same, I've got no complaints
No.
at this juncture.
Right. No, I would agree. Like I said, getting a running game would be awfully nice. Some
It
form
would.
of a running game.
Well, right, and you know what they've done, and people don't like it, but a lot of those short passes are
Mm.
an extension of the run game,
Sure.
and I know people don't look at it that way, but that it is what it is, and like that screenplay to Dylan Sampson, I love getting that guy involved. You put
Hey, he's been quiet for a while. Hasn't we really haven't seen much, done much, but he also had a nice run too late in the game
Yeah,
too.
he did.
Remember?
Yes, he did. He has quickness.
Yeah.
Well, but he's small. He's small.
Mhm.
I mean, we know all about that in Cleveland. Metcalf up the middle, and a Bill Belichick special, and
Yep.
it's one of those deals where we need to get those guys involved. They've got to come hard, come strong, and get out. If they can get out to a lead. If Brock Purdy is out there in against the Panthers throwing all these picks, I'd love to see us replicate that.
Yeah.
It would certainly be nice to be able to do that and see Myles Garrett feast on it a little bit. Brock Purdy, I'm getting concerned as we kind of talked at the outset. Has he plateaued? Is he going? Has he hit his ceiling?
Is this his first game back since the injury? This is his first one, right? Did he play last week? I don't think he played last week.
I don't know, to be honest. But regardless, I'm just saying as a whole, he looks like he's had a lot of injuries.
Yeah.
He's played so well, but if I'm San Fran, I'm getting a little concerned about his potential.
Right.
And, well, no, you know what, Mike? This is actually funny. He said Stefanski is probably asleep, not even watching this game. I mean, well, according to what he answered after that the first Pittsburgh Cincinnati matchup, when
Oh yeah.
Flacco went over, he's like, "Oh, well, I was asleep. I wasn't. I really don't watch that. I was, because
Was that the one where Flacco?
yeah, that was the
Yeah.
one where Flacco went off, and Tom, it's like he gets traded down there earlier in the week and then goes and beats them. That was great.
Right.
Speaking of former Browns quarterbacks, what do you make of the Baker Mayfield injury? The MRI, the good news, it's nothing, nothing more serious for Baker Mayfield. It's a low grade sprain to
It's
his
his
knee.
left, right? Not his throwing. It was the
Correct.
left.
Correct.
Okay.
It's his AC joint, left shoulder, so his non-throwing arm. But as we all recall in Cleveland, because of Anthony Schwartz, pulling up short and
Mhm.
Baker trying to be a hero, he ends up hurting his left shoulder, and he attempts to play the entirety of the season. Never was really right. I don't know
Mhm.
how much of it was due to that, but I can't say that it wasn't some way affecting and impacting his game.
Yeah.
So, um, I guess, do you think we'll see any kind of maturity for Baker where he might not be so bullheaded and say, "Well, I can play. I choose when I get to play. I have the final say on whether I'm healthy enough to go in."
I think so. I think for a few reasons.
Okay.
I think one, I'd like to think he's more mature. If you followed him the last year, I think he said he's found God now, which hey, great. He's I think he's got more security. If I remember correctly, that last year he was
Right.
playing, he bet on himself and he's playing, to try and get that contract. He's got a contract now. He seems to have a home there. So I would hope and think that he would,
Right.
do
Right.
you
So
think?
I would hope that he has wised up, and
Mm,
and because of the scenario and situation, he's like, "I'm good. I'm
right.
good." And if you recall, I think Steve, he still had another year here in Cleveland.
Right, but it was that, hey, could because it's
He wanted more money.
yeah, well, it's the fourth year, so they could extend it or whatever. Remember?
They gave him
And,
I think he had the 5th year option,
but that's isn't that the year where they can go and get do the big extensions and stuff, and they didn't or something.
right, they
So
made him an offer, he didn't want it. It
yeah,
wasn't enough, so he bet on himself, and then he gets injured, and so instead of stepping back and saying, "For the better of the team, I'm not going to force this,"
right,
he and Stefanski butted heads. amongst and that was amongst other things from what everybody reported,
Mhm.
which wherein he allegedly was calling his own plays and doing things that Stefanski wasn't calling. That's a problem. That is one area where I think Stefanski is like, nah, I ain't gonna put up with that.
Right, right. I mean, well, what always caught my eye, two things. See two different situations unfold. A couple years back when Kyler Murray got hurt,
Hmm.
Arizona sat him. They're like, "You're our franchise. We're not risking it for now, for this game, for the next game. We're thinking long term." And they sat him for I forget how many weeks. This was a few years back. Same thing with Baker. If that's your franchise quarterback, you sit him. You take it out of you don't let him decide. Or most quarterbacks are gonna say, "I want to play,"
Yep.
for whatever reason. They're
Well,
competitive.
yeah, that's just their nature, and that's why part of the reason that they are at the level they are at
Right,
because of that drive. And,
right.
so
I think back then, if Cleveland really felt, if Barry or Stefanski, the organization felt that was our franchise quarterback, they should have at that point been like, "You're not playing. We're making the call. We love that you want to play. We're looking at you, long term future. You're the franchise. And it's not worth you getting hurt worse or something else. Get back to 100%." So, but I think this time around, I've seen interviews with him when he's like, Tampa's like, "We want you to be yourself." He's kind of found a home there. And I don't think I think he's more comfortable, a little bit more mature, and wiser. And I don't think he'll make the same mistake.
I hope
We'll
for his
see.
I hope for his own sake he doesn't. He does have all the so one I did see, I think or actually see or heard. I heard I think Rizzo said something like he's got a second child on the way, which is great.
I did.
Congratulations.
I happened to see that. I saw they posted something Instagram. His wife, somebody. They had the little daughter, and she was holding the ultrasound pictures, and made an announcement like
Oh,
that.
that's cute. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So.
But I did see, funny enough, different people starting to post. I don't know if it was like repost from our, Cleveland folks
Mhm.
about discussions amongst Tampa media or people discussing, I don't know if he's good enough. Are we really going to do any bet? Can we do better than Maker? Or are we
Oh,
going to?
really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It's like the Spider-Man meme. They are pointing at each other going, this looks rather, you know, it sounds rather familiar. It's like deja vu all over again.
Nah.
So I don't know. I mean, if you had to put a guess on it for this coming Sunday,
Mhm.
um, what's your kind of feeling on it? Prediction? Do you think the Browns have a chance in hell, or is it gonna be like wishful thinking?
I mean, with this defense, where they're at the level they're playing at right now, you got to think we're always in a game. Though, and the other thing, I don't think we talked about it on this show, but I think it was obvious. The defense, they seem to have a little bit more pep in their step. You get a lead, you see, hey, this offense is putting some points on the board.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely.
when was the last time I said this to my buddy? When was the last time you saw Myles Garrett standing on the sideline watching the game and not sitting back on a bench checking up the jumbotron or something to see what's going on? I
Yeah.
mean, and
No.
everybody's seen that picture of the look he did when he completed the I think it was the bond that 50.
Yeah. Yes.
So do I think we have a chance? Absolutely. But our offense has been terrible. We've been in, what games have we been really blown out this year?
Detroit.
The- this was a loaded question, but I mean, we've started in games where we're,
Yeah, we
especially
were in it for a while, and then
yeah,
it
I mean,
falls apart
even
because the offense stinks, the
mhm,
defense gets tired, the offense commit or special teams does something absolutely, like, mind-blowingly stupid.
right,
Either a strip sack, scoop and score, the, interception return, the pick six, whatever it is, any which way we can screw it up, we've managed to.
right. So, and yeah, I mean, hey, here's the excuse. Yeah, that's true. That is very true. I think he is definitely has that motivation. Not only, and like Mike said, he's looking to smash it, not just break it. Maybe get to
Obliterate it.
30. Yeah.
He's trying to obliterate it.
Yeah. So with the defense we got, if we get any type of offensive production, at home, I think we got a chance. And I mean, and after, thanks for Mike chiming in, 3 picks already. And this is a short week for San Fran. They're traveling out here. So
Yeah, no, and it's Thanksgiving, so how much are they gonna be is that gonna be an additional distraction for
yeah,
them, like, getting through the week? It messes up but it's also a disadvantage to us. The practice schedule is gonna be a little bit different, for both
yeah,
sides of things.
for sure.
Our guys are gonna have to lock in. I know that, you might be thinking to yourself, "What's the point?" But, I mean, you play to win the game.
Well, and I saw this and I had a chuckle, but it's then you also have to be like, well, why not?
We'd be
That
set.
is true.
We scored
Well,
league average.
we're 3 games out. And it's crazy to even talk about it, but I'm like, it's 3 games. It's and you still have to play both those teams ahead of you. Well, Baltimore, if I'm not mistaken, is now in first.
Yes, they are.
I
They
think
they
I'm
they
sure
are
I know
first.
they have the same record, but I have a tiebreaker or whatever as of now. So we play both those guys again.
Yeah, I mean, well, we've already lost to Baltimore twice. We have
No,
one more
Pittsburgh.
we play Pittsburgh one more time and Cincinnati one more time. Um, the problem is we've got a very good Bears team on the road. Um, I mean, they're winning. They're so vastly improved. Uh,
Right.
it's amazing, what they're doing. Okay, he almost this is great comedy. The, Mike's updates on Brock Purdy,
Another one.
almost, oh my god.
Jeez.
Um, it's just it's one of those things where, um,
We
the
do
type
have some tough games. I
look,
mean,
I looked at the schedule, and I know I can't tell you
you got
what the Cincinnati game is gonna look like to end the
right.
season.
I mean, San Fran, it all depends what happens against San Fran, but then you do have Tennessee.
You're right, you could be potentially get on a 3-game winning streak.
Mhm.
If you take the San Fran game and 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 go about your business and take care of business, you should beat the Titans, and all of a sudden you've won 3 games in a row,
Right.
with a team that otherwise you just thought was hapless, at
Yep.
least the offensive side of the ball. So I think that there's certainly an opportunity there to be had. Um, I'm not gonna go like bonkers and crazy. Let's see. Oh man, did Kenny Atkinson win another challenge? No, they lost a challenge. Oh, dagnabbit. Sorry guys, it looks like the Cavaliers and their mash unit, they're losing to Toronto. I mean, this is ridiculous. We'll have lost 3 times to them already this season if they
That's insane.
absolutely, crap. Beat the Titans, split with the 49ers and Bills, split with Pittsburgh and Cincinnati. Yeah, I could see that, as Mike said, double the win total from last year if we could get to 6. I mean, look, whatever we get here is kinda gravy.
Right.
They've got to nail their draft picks and keep working around whatever's going on, and hopefully we've got to know one way or another what we're looking at in this quarterback room. The best case scenario
I
is
agree.
is that Shador Sanders, ends up being the guy. I couldn't see Dylan Gabriel being the guy. It would be the best
No.
case scenario if either of them were, but I'm pretty sure I know about,
I think Gabriel, he is what he is. Could he be a solid backup? Maybe,
maybe. I don't even know about that. I
Yeah.
really
Well, that's what all the reports I heard before was that was kind of the mindset, which kind of blows my mind to think about it. But you're looking at him as a backup, career backup. Like, hey, wait, that's our back. I don't know. That
well,
always
though, Steve, they're like, we weren't going to draft the first rounder. We're going to have 2 first round picks next year. If we stink, we're going to be picking very high. We will get our franchise quarterback in the 2026 draft. Is what
right.
is I think the philosophy and theory. And maybe they don't need to or won't do that. And so, let's just see what
The only
happens.
problem I have with that though is that if that was what you were thinking, then why did you take 2 quarterbacks this? You know
Again,
what I mean? If you're like, hey, this isn't And that being said, where we got Sanders, minus the baggage that everybody was
it was a
worried about.
throwaway pick. It was a throwaway pick.
Yeah, it's like, hey, was it worth the risk? For
Yes,
Columbus.
he could play for the Aviators. Fantastic. That would be. Uh, no, that would be. I think that'd be good for him. It's like have you it's like, do you have a pool or a pond? I think
Me?
a pond would be good for you. Oh,
Who
come on.
me?
Yeah, Caddyshack, pool, pond.
Oh,
Pond would
I
be
didn't.
oh, you go to
I'm focused right now on Shador and the Browns.
oh, come on, you gotta know Caddyshack references when I throw them out
I
there.
should have known that. I dropped the ball on that. I apologize.
You
I
did, you Jerry Judy'd it. Thanks.
apo-
You pulled a Greg Little. Who's worse, Greg Little or Jerry Judy?
Oh God. Oof.
I think Greg Little's far worse. He never was good.
Nah. Yeah.
He was
It's a high second round pick too.
he was terrible. Who was worse, Greg Little or Corey Coleman?
Oh, gotta go. Corey Coleman, first round pick. Yeah.
we could have a discussion. Who was worse, Dwayne Bowe or Corey Coleman?
If we put man, could you imagine just some of the things we could do?
Oh, absolutely. No,
Oh,
I did a whole thing about on a prior episode of Going nuCLEar, talking about all the receivers. Like, I would rather have a drunken high Josh Gordon rather than, and went through all the people that we had
wow.
drafted. And I think that it was almost unanimous. I don't think there may have been like one wide receiver on the whole list that we were like, we might have taken instead of a drunk and high Josh Gordon.
Wow.
Is that
It's I'm older, so I remember, I still can remember the glory of the 80s, mid to late 80s, when we expected to win every game. We went to the AFC Championship 3 times. I remember back then during those drafts that Cincinnati was that team that they always just, whoever they took in the first round, you're like, oh my God, you guys again, just every year would bomb. It seemed like Achilles Smith, the running back Johnson, or was it Johnson or Carter? Carter.
it's Kajana Carter?
Yeah, Kajana Carter, who turned it just every year they would just, it seemed like they would, David Klingler, all,
Oh,
fast forward all these years, and it was, looking at since 99 in our drafts, I'm like, oh my God, how law of averages say you got to do better than what we've done in drafts.
right. All right. Now, Mike, you really hit on.
You had to go there, didn't you, Mike?
You have 3 wins with 3. Who's going to be the 4? Okay, now, there's going to be nobody else, Mike. Let us all pray.
Look at the saving grace for this, for Shador playing well, better, well, whatever you want to say. I mean, because there's people, and I'm sure you heard it too. They were seriously considering, do we go back to Watson? I mean, because I think most people agree. Most Browns fans, I think, were like, "Hey, I've seen enough of Gabriel. Is it fair? 6 games, whatever it's been. No, but
Yes, it is actually.
it's fair. But he is what he is. Everybody's seen enough, and I saw a lot of chatter about a lot of fans who didn't want to see it. They're like, at this point, I'd rather see Watson come back and play than to see Gabriel go out there again.
Right, but that was, I think, a lot of people's assumption that they couldn't get Sanders on the field. Well, now we have him.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Another saving grace with Sanders playing well or better. That's kind of gone by the wayside for now, anyway.
And so my question is, what is going to happen after this season?
Well, you got him. Is it 1 or 2 more years technically?
Well, technically, there's a dummy year. There are these dummy years. So it's like
years.
we have like 1 more year of him.
I think next year you're stuck with him, and then you can, according to, is that Jack Duffin, then you can
something on it. But it's not after this year. It's after next year.
Right. So you got the whole 26 season.
What are you going to do with him during the 26 season? Because presumably, I guess. All right, let me throw this scenario out there. I don't know how we got down this. Thanks a lot, Mike. Now you got us down a whole different route. Let's say it's Sanders. Let's say he proves himself and is the starting quarterback. Do you bring back Watson as the backup?
I mean, what do you do with him? You could get by this year because I don't think anybody reasonably thought he was going to even see the light of day on the field this year. Coming from,
He wanted to see your thoughts on Bumson.
Jeez, nobody thought. I didn't think Achilles and tearing it a second time that he was going to see the field at all this year. So you can get by with this year. Watson's out of sight, out of mind. You can't do that next year because he's going to have this whole season to recover. Presumably, he's going to be healthy and not have hurt himself again. You're paying him all this money. He's on the roster. I mean, how is he not on the roster playing?
Right. Nobody's going to take him off our hands.
No.
and we're going to get hit with a dead cap hit. I don't know what you do. Unless there's going to be another team out there, Minnesota, that is going to be quarterback needy because JJ McCarthy sucks. And, Quessy is our buddy.
Yeah.
Quessy's our buddy. I'm sure Kevin O'Connell could work wonders with him. Hey, please do. Although, could you just imagine, Steve?
Him going there and being successful, being the old Watson, so to speak.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Hey, no matter what we've done, just remember this. Minnesota had Darnold and Daniel Jones on their roster. And I get it. You took McCarthy in the first round. I was stunned coming into that draft that year. I didn't think he was a first round talent. That's why I'm sitting here and not a GM. I was stunned when he went in the first round, let alone top 10. I think he was the 9th or whatever.
Somewhere. Yeah. Well, kind of like I would say that we might be better GMs than
right.
No, he ran an offense in Michigan that knew the defense's play calls. And so that tends to help. And,
right.
and they ran the ball. They didn't win because of him.
Right.
He ran it efficiently. He did what needed to be done. I didn't see him as a top 10 talent, a first round talent. And they might have given themselves, really hosed themselves by letting Darnold out of the building and letting Daniel Jones. I don't know if those, again, Sam Darnold is a reclamation project, and he has his issues, and I don't trust it. And Daniel Jones, he shows flashes of his terribleness, but he has been very good. Remember when Baker Mayfield called him out? I was shocked he went that high.
Yeah.
You recall that?
Well, here's what I'm interested in, because we heard that 26 is supposed to be the year of the quarterbacks. That's the draft. Well, now you're hearing, no, it's not. Archie Manning's probably not coming out. He shouldn't. I mean, who knows?
Oh, he's not. He's not coming out.
No, but here's where I think it's going to be interesting to see, because we're a few years into it now, but this NIL money, now kids don't have to come out. They're making millions in college. Before it's like, hey, yeah, they did. Yeah, they did.
He is. Yes, JJ McCarthy is ass.
Yep. But before it was, hey, do I want to risk another year in college or go to the NFL and get paid? Now these guys, and in some cases, they could be making more money than when they come into the NFL. So, God, that's interesting that you brought that up. I mean, could you foresee where you go into next year and you have, let's live in La La Land for a little bit. Let's say Sanders each week shows improvement and you're like, you know what? This kid looks like he's got a shot. You got him. You're obviously going to have Gabriel. Oh, by the way, you still have Deshaun Watson under contract. Do you not even touch a quarterback in next year?
You may not. You may, because because if you feel like you've got the quarterback position settled, you're going to draft best BPA, best player available.
Oh yeah, ideally, I would love. That's the dream case scenario for us. I would love for them to be like, hey, we just took a left tackle, a receiver, whatever.
Yep. No, that's absolutely the best case scenario. They also need to shore up the secondary. But yes, maybe they make him the third. And make Watson the third emergency third quarterback and sit him back there, just have him chill back there.
Right. Hell, I might even take him as the backup.
I don't want him on the field. I got to be quite honest. I'm so pissed with that guy. He represents so much that has gone wrong because of that move and his just inability to stay healthy, his off the field problems. It screwed us and set us back so far.
Well, it has been nice because up until now, and us talking about it, Watson, well, it didn't help during the Raiders game that he was able to make that trip. And then, of course, they're showing I saw some camera time, saw him getting some love from Dion. He's been kind of out of sight, out of mind for most of this year.
Unless he puts his own videos out.
I was just going to say, unless you see some of the videos he's put up on social media, but by and large, so yeah, I probably don't want to go down that rabbit hole. I'm kind of done with him, but it was fun to go to La La Land for a little bit and think everything be honky-dory. And
yeah, and Mike, I wouldn't be surprised if Dante Moore goes back, although he could be, if he goes back, he risks falling down in the draft stock because right now he's probably pretty high up. I mean, if you look at it, I think teams that are quarterback need of the teams that are quarterback needy,
Mhm.
he's got to be. He's high up on the list. Probably. I think everybody's talking, and I'm kind of consensus with it. Everyone's talking about Mendoza from Indiana,
Mhm.
Simpson at Alabama, and Moore at Oregon. I don't know of any other one. Please don't tell me about some jackass from North Dakota State. I don't want to hear nothing about North Dakota State. I don't want to hear about somebody from Timbuktu. Okay,
Is saying a true freshman, or
he
was
is
he a
a redshirt
red shirt?
sophomore
So
or redshirt freshman. I think. No. He redshirted. Then he was a freshman last year, sophomore. He's got another year to go. Bottom
right.
bottom line, he has another year.
So that's my point. Dante Moore, I would be almost surprised if he didn't come out, because you look at the next year's class. If he doesn't come out in this draft, I highly doubt Manning's coming out in this one. So in the following year, which will be 27, you will have Manning coming out. More than likely, Sayan's coming out at that point as well,
Right.
for Ohio State. So you
Yeah,
got
all
two
goes well, and then that's at least a couple. I don't know who some of these.
Sellers. If he decides to
Oh,
South Carolina,
he needs to go back to South Carolina or go somewhere else. South Carolina stinks. But
yeah,
Jets, Saints, Raiders all need a quarterback. If they're absolutely all three of those teams need a quarterback. And obviously, you can't say after. Okay, and then Mike says, and this is where we were talking, can declare for the 2027 draft.
yeah,
So
that's what I'm saying.
right.
So if Moore stays in, that's going to be, that very well could be with Manning and Sayan right there. At least in this one, he's in the conversation as a top two or top three quarterback in this upcoming draft if he comes out.
Yeah, I would come out in this year's draft because I think you will get picked early.
Right. That's what I'm saying. With the other one, if Manning keeps on that trajectory and Sayan does what he does, I mean, those guys you would think ideally would be ahead of him.
Yeah, it's possible. And who knows? Like you said, Lenore Sellers has the physical. He's a physical specimen.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of work to do. But we'll see how that all goes. I don't know about some of these other prospects. You see so many guys, they have raw talent. And what irks me is about the college game is a philosophy in life that you're supposed to be getting prepared for your professional career when you're in college, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you go to this, you play football, and they're not preparing you well enough. They're simplifying it instead of being like, look, this is real world. I'm going to teach you how to do this. You're going to read the defense. Here's how the plays are going to come in. Get you ready for the NFL. And they don't. And the rules, I will I'll die on the hill that the rules in college should mimic the rules in the NFL, so that players are better prepared. The pass interference calls, what constitutes a catch, and I just think that that's where they failed these guys.
Yeah.
They really do. And so a guy like Andrew Luck doesn't come around very often. I mean, obviously he got destroyed in Indianapolis and stuff, but I mean, he knew how to play on a pro system under Harbaugh.
Right.
As much as I don't like Captain Khaki, maybe, Sellers or whomever, maybe he doesn't want to play for, who I don't know if he's talking about Lenoris or talking about Dante Moore. Either way, doesn't want to play for a bad team. And that's a possibility as well. If you're not high up on the draft, as high on the draft board, maybe they don't want you early, and you actually end up in a Lamar situation.
Yeah.
So it's really going to be very interesting to see what happens here. I can't even think of past, I don't know, about past the hair on my nose or something, or some terrible saying. But I don't know. What do you think? Are you ready for this weekend? Are you ready for Thanksgiving? Let's close it out like this, Steve. Wait a second. Are we serious?
Carson Beck.
Are you serious, Mike? You serious? Yeah, no. What about him? He's too busy at the tattoo artist. That guy stinks. I heard some jabroni talking about Gunnar Stockton like he's God's gift to quarterbacks. Are you for real? No. Sorry.
You're passing him too?
I'll pass. Oh, wait a second. Uh, Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick.
Philip Rayola. That kid stinks. Oh my gosh. And his little twit of a brother decommitted from Nebraska. Like, hey, buddy, you're a 3-star. Get out of here. You're lucky to go to Nebraska. You're
Yep.
lucky to be able to go there. I don't know. So, you ready for Thanksgiving?
What are you doing for Thanksgiving? Any plans? You're in what, West Virginia?
No, I'm in regular Virginia. I'm not in the bad one.
Why do I always want to say West Virginia?
You think is that what you really think of me? Am I a slackjaw yokel?
No, Virginia. You coming back into town with family, or are you staying there?
I'm here. My in-laws, my mother-in-law, my father-in-law, they come here, and
Okay.
it's just my wife and I and our kids, our 2 kids, and my mother-in-law and father-in-law, and
Nice.
it's real chill. We got the fried turkey going on, and
You deep fry?
oh yeah, the fryer, drop it in,
Yeah.
drop that bad boy in. My father-in-law is the head frying person. He's in charge of all that. He does all the injections and all that.
I got 2 quick stories about that. Well, one story, but the first time I ever had deep fried turkey was at a tailgate, Brown's tailgate.
Yeah.
One of our buddies brought, had the big pot, did the whole thing. He's like, you got to do it. The most juiciest turkey I've ever had with that crisp skin. So the one year I told my wife we're gonna deep fry a turkey, which she loved because she had the oven now free,
right?
All kinds of other stuff,
casseroles and everything.
Yep.
Yes.
So I was like, okay, I'm gonna deep fry turkey. My first time, and this my father-in-law was still alive at this point. I had my wife, our son, the in-laws over, the sister-in-law, and I pull it out, do everything. It looks beautiful. I'm like, this might be the best bird I've ever done. We're letting it rest, all that stuff. Everybody getting everything together. Well, I finally go to cut it. And you've seen Christmas Vacation, right?
Yes. Yes.
So I go and I'm excited. This thing looks textbook. I go to cut it and I'm cutting. I'm like, there's no meat. All of a sudden, I'm panicking. I'm like, oh my God, this thing's dry as can be. I guess I overcut. I'm freaking out. I'm like starting to sweat with my father-in-law behind me, waiting.
Yes.
Turns out, as I was cutting, I'm like, what? I flipped it over. I had it on its backside. It wasn't even on the right side. I realized that I flipped over, started cutting. I'm like, thank you, God. There is meat. There's the breast. And we were saying, but for that, it seemed like an eternity. I thought I overcooked it. And as soon as I finished cutting, it's just going to open up and be nothing.
Yes, it is going to be Christmas Vacation. You're going to
right.
Some
thank God it wasn't
some kibble on the Jello, some cat kibble on the Jello and stuff.
Yes, sir. So a lot of football. Turkey and football. Don't get much better at that for a Thursday. So
no, it absolutely doesn't. I'll be looking forward to that.
Here in Cleveland, in Ohio, they're saying it's supposed to snow.
Oh, well, hey, good for it. I know you'll be out playing football. You'll go to the turkey bowl, right?
Those years have long gone. We used to back in the day do our friends and stuff, do a turkey bowl, 20-something-year-old guys running around playing. Those were the good old days.
Yeah. You that lovely days. Yeah, I remember those days, Steve. Yeah, so you'll be in town. You got any family coming over, or where are you going?
Yeah, we usually our son and grandkids and stuff come around and stuff. So we usually do something like that. My side of the family, my cousin always has a big get together. Sometimes we've gone over there later to go over for dessert or something. So, but we usually have it at our house. Take it easy. And I'm going to gear up for some football for Sunday, tailgating.
Nice.
Don't know where we're going to be yet. John and I have bounced around. We've gone to a few different tailgates.
Flexible. You're flexible.
Right. We set up our own Lou, who's part of the Fanatical Elves with us. He's come by at our tailgates before. Thought about going back to the Muni. We bounced around to Top Dog Tailgate, who always puts on a good show. Nats. We've been over to Nats. They're 2 of the bigger tailgate groups. So, but we'll figure out what we're going to do. But I'm looking forward to Sunday. I want to see, like we kind of talked about, I want to see Shedeur. I'd like to see him continue to improve a little bit. And, I love the fact that I heard he was studying so much this past week.
Exactly. Now that it brought about a question of like, was he doing that the rest of the time, and I'm not going to get into that. I'm not going into that. All right. What's your go-to Thanksgiving dessert? I think, I mean, traditionally it's you're talking pumpkin pie, but are you a pumpkin pie person, or what do you guys do at
Well,
your
for all the years in the past, I've got two. I'm a classic guy, so you got to have pumpkin pie. But one of my favorite pies is pecan. So
Oh,
we've always done both.
okay.
Now, because I'm trying to watch my sugars, I'm type 2. I'm also trying to drop a few lbs. I conceded my wife's not a big pecan fan. I'm like, look, we got it. We'll stick with a pumpkin pie, and I'll have a piece or two of that through this weekend. But we're gonna do classic. What about you? What do you do?
Well, my mother-in-law, she makes it's a Cool Whip pumpkin pie.
Okay.
So you don't even need to put the Cool Whip on top because it's already in there. And when you look at it in terms of the amount of carbs
Yeah.
for the purposes of us type 2 diabetics with
Yeah.
the sugar, the carbs, and all that stuff, it's actually not that bad. So I mean, one piece for dessert,
Right.
I'm good, and just a heck of a lot of turkey. Make some good sides that are not going to kill me. I can't, it's like it sucks because I used to really enjoy the stovetop stuffing. I could devour that.
I
Or
got to admit, that used to be my favorite stuffing. My wife and I'm a foodie guy. I like to cook ever since the Food Network. And now all of a sudden
oh,
I'm like, hey, I'm Bobby Flay now. I cook anything. So
yeah,
we've experimented for years. And my wife and I, we partly a recipe we found and added to it. We did it was a cranberry chestnut stuffing, which
okay.
actually was really good, but we're not doing that. The chestnuts are a pain in the butt. You've got to roast them. You've got to get them out of that shells, peel them. My wife hates it. So I'm like, okay, we don't have to add that. Stuffing's probably my favorite,
Yeah,
side.
yeah. We do a broccoli casserole, and there. I mean, when you have have it lathered or layered with cream cheese and a layer of cheddar on top, and we breadcrumbs on top, but or whatever it is, broken up bread on top. It's not bad, and onion. You avoid. I avoid the bread part of it. I leave the topping.
Okay.
When I go to the cheese and everything else, that's always good. And also a sweet potato praline casserole as well, which is
Ooh,
so good, but it's so sugary. So
yeah.
I have to steer clear of that. But the fried turkey is so good, I don't miss much else.
No, we did. The other thing we started doing is making our own cranberry sauce, which again, watching Food Network, I'm like, oh, let's do this. And I'm going to zest up some nutmeg and drop in some cinnamon and get all chefy. And this one's going to be an interesting one because this is the first year, first Thanksgiving that I'm type 2. So I'm supposed to watch my sugars. My wife just went shopping today, and I'm not going to be doing so well because she's got stuff for potatoes. She's got stuff for the sweet potatoes. She does like a green bean casserole, which okay.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Everybody's different. Enjoy the turkey. It's protein. It's meat. It's delicious. Enjoy that. Yep. Limit the other stuff, and you will be in good shape. I always try to limit the crappy sides to save it so I can have a dessert.
Well, I don't know how it is for you, but a lot of times when we put these meals together and we've got so much food and I'm all excited, but when we go sit down and eat, and I'm excited because I'm seeing family and we're talking, I really don't eat that much.
Right. No,
I'll get a little plate, and because we have so many different sides, I'll get a couple things and not even touch a few of the sides. But don't get me wrong. Minute that family leaves, everybody's gone and everything's been put away, and my wife and her mom and my sister-in-law have all done dishes and stuff and got the kitchen back in order. They leave. I'm like, Deb, I'm hungry. Let's pull out the leftovers and make a plate of something. So, but I always, with all the cooking and stuff, sometimes when I go to eat, I'm like, I'm not that hungry because I've been like around the food all day, cooking and doing stuff and helping. And
so no, I completely, I'm on cleanup duty. I stay out of the way and I do that. So I don't know. And plus we've got, of course, the game on Saturday, and I'm stressing about that. So
yeah. What do you think? You got any predictions for that one?
My predictions are pain. I feel the anxiety. I was talking to Mike, who's been chatting with us here all evening so graciously. I haven't felt this nervous since the pre-Tressel days.
Really?
Under John Cooper.
Now, do you think that? Yeah, I mean, this is a big one. I think this game means more than what Ryan Day might let on to, at least before the game. Now, if we go in there and we win, maybe he'll come out and say, but I think this one means a lot. But does it lessen at all because you're coming off a national championship? Yeah, I lost you, but I won a national championship.
Yeah.
Or does it?
I think there's still a lot. I mean, you're playing for pride, if nothing else. You wipe everything else out, and this is about pride. And you want to go in there and take care of business. You got de-pantsed. You got emasculated last year, but you also don't fall into the trap of playing their game and not your game, which is what happened to Ryan Day. He got psyched out with everyone talking about the Buckeyes not being physical and not being tough, and he tried to play their game, and he screwed the pooch last year. It appears Jeremiah Smith is saying that he's going to be good to go. He was
I was
on
just going to say, what's the status with Tate and Smith?
Smith was on a podcast, I think with Caleb Downs, maybe, and he said something like he's going to be good to go. Hopefully Tate is as well. We need those guys, and we've got to air it out. We need to let's put some air in it and knock them out early and make Bryce Underwood into a passer. And that's probably our key to victory right there.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
I mean, they had no business winning last year. I feel this way again this year, but it's the big game.
It's a rivalry game.
Anything can happen.
Throw out the records and just strap on your seatbelt. I don't know. I might have to just completely. Last year, I switched the audio. I paused the TV, I synced it up to Paul Keels because Gus Johnson annoys the crap out of me, especially in that game when it's so stressful. And I might just have to mute it entirely this year because I don't
not a Gus fan.
I think it's a negative reinforcement thing because I'm hearing him in these critical moments and then they lose. And you associate the loss with that. And he's gotten a bit over the top over the years. There was a time when I preferred him or I thought he was really good back when he was at CBS doing doing basketball and even NFL at CBS. And he's just gotten a little bit, he's got personality. He's very good, but that whole thing, the call of that throw from Mendoza to Cooper to win the comeback against Penn State. So I'm not a huge fan of his, but that's okay. I mean, it is what it is.
I got to remember to do what you said, and sorry to cut you off, because I do enjoy your alternate play-by-play that you do, and I have listened. I've done it both. I've listened when I've had the game on, and unfortunately, you're ahead of my TV. I'm like, okay, Ethan, I got to go. It didn't dawn on me that, pause that and sync it up with you. Pause you and sync it up, and I could get it. I never thought I just automatically turned you off. Sorry, bud.
Don't worry about it. You're not missing anything. It's okay.
But I have listened to times where I didn't have the game on. I'm like, I'm just going to put you on, and I think you do an outstanding job. So I'm expecting you to be one of the Cleveland play-by-play guys here in the next 2 to 3 years.
Hey, we're gonna. I'm putting it out into the atmosphere as there are new teams coming around to the. I don't know what the scenarios are, Mike. A loss could knock us out of the Big Ten game. I don't know. I don't know what the tiebreakers are in that scenario. So because if it comes to, I don't know how many. I think. I assume Michigan would pass us. I don't know how many Big Ten losses they actually have. Oh my God! What? Is that on you? I don't know.
I know Rachel is claiming there's no theme to the music tonight.
Oh my God. Okay. That is the craziest thing. Yes.
Was that you?
Yes. All right. So my phone, I've got the Land on Demand app, which is for Cleveland. It's been randomly just coming on. And it connects, and it's connected to my soundboard. And I don't know why they did. Okay, well that was interesting. Yes, so yes, as Mike said, also I want to end their Michigan season because clearly a win over Michigan would send them packing. And then also I do appreciate this, Mike. Yeah, I'd love to have the WNBA play-by-play when that comes to Cleveland. I think
there you go. What do you do now? What's the team you do for?
Randolph-Macon College. Randolph-Macon College, and they're actually this not this weekend, next weekend. The football team is in Division 3, they're going to be coming up to play John Carroll.
Okay.
In the playoffs. So next weekend, I guess
You're traveling for that?
No. I don't do I do not do the football, but I was just, kind of relating that they are going to be up there. So I guess whatever date that is. So I don't, it's not this weekend. The following weekend, they Randolph-Macon will be traveling up to the Cleveland area to University Heights to take on John Carroll in the D3 playoffs of football.
Yeah.
So, all right, Steve. Well, I really, really appreciate it. Why don't you tell everyone where they can find you and when they can find you, and we'll close her down.
Well, I'm with you on the Fanatical Elves. Me and my buddy John, we do a show. There's a Gleam. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube. It's not on Twitter. That got kind of taken away here briefly, so we'll see. But you can follow me, Steve Hemrich, at Hemi44 on X. And I appreciate you. I watched the show a lot. Appreciate you having me on. I have to do it again.
Absolutely. Anytime. This is always good. Thank you for joining me for this impromptu venting session and discussion, because I was annoyed out of my mind reading the news today. So, Steve, thank you so much for being here tonight. Really appreciate it. Go have a great evening. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving. We shall talk, and we will chat with you later, my friend.
All righty.
All right. So for Steve Hemrich, I'm Ethan Greenberg, and thank you to Mike for tuning in all the way from across the pond and chiming in throughout. Love that. So again, for Steve Hemrich, I'm Ethan Greenberg. You have been tuned in to Going nuCLEar, full-blown coverage of the land.